Y'all seeing that shit?
First few months of President Trump's second term, including some selections for key jobs in his administration, have sparked new questions about his complicated history with elevating extremist views.
President Trump has a long history of amplifying messages and figures embraced by white supremacists and other domestic extremists, from spreading birther conspiracy theories about former President Obama's citizenship, to lying about the outcome of the 2020 election, to pardoning the rioters who violently stormed the Capitol in 2021. Now, in his second term, he's doubled down, staffing key positions with people who have spread racist conspiracies and defended January 6 insurrectionists who assaulted police. How the president's second term compares to his first term, specifically when it comes to who he is elevating in his administration and the ideological views that they promote and they're known for. How would you compare the two terms?
Well, I think we had an expression during the first term. We said there were adults in the room, serious, long-term professionals in national security and other fields who staffed the administration and who kept the trains on the tracks. This time, there are far fewer of those individuals, and I think that's encapsulated actually in the January 6th legacy, where this time President Trump basically has surrounded himself with people who either believe or are willing to lie to him in saying that the January 6th election riot was legitimate, was legal, and that the election was stolen. So immediately you have people who cannot look at a truth and see it for what it is that he lost that election.
President Trump has come under criticism for appointing several people who have shared extremist views. Those include Ed Martin, the president's pardon attorney, who previously defended January 6 rioters and praised a Nazi sympathizer. Paul Ingrassia, a former podcast host with a history of racist comments, who also said that January 6 should be a national holiday. He's going to now lead the Office of Special Counsel. What message does it send that the administration is further embracing people who have ties to or who have spread extremist views?
I think the message is that loyalty trumps expertise, loyalty trumps serious policy. It trumps national security. It's more important for somebody to be loyal to Trump, loyal to the MAGA doctrine, than to be a serious professional who's going to implement and make hard choices in our national security space. Of course, one of the individuals you mentioned, according to your reporting, Laura, Paul Ingrassia, has said that descendants of slaves should be paying slave owners reparations. I mean, that is an overtly racist statement, and this is somebody who's leading the Office of Special Counsel.
The president has also embraced figures and symbols that perpetuate anti-Semitism in some cases, including he posted a meme on social media recently that features Pepe the Frog, a symbol of white supremacist movements, and the president previously dined with white supremacist Nick Fuentes, and his Bedminster club hosted Timothy Hale Cusinelli, who prosecutors called a Nazi sympathizer and who has a history of anti-Semitic rants. The president says that his attacks on universities, that his restrictions that he's placing on universities like Harvard are in the name of combating anti-Semitism. But does this track record show the opposite?
Well, actually, Laura, this is something that does go back to the first administration. The place where we saw this rapprochement between Trump and the violent far right. The first time we saw that was at Charlottesville, where a white supremacist attack happened on behalf of an overtly neo-Nazi cause with people who were there as overt neo-Nazis. And he, of course, said there were very fine people on both sides. Years later, he told the Proud Boys during a presidential debate to stand back and stand by. So President Trump has repeatedly, during his time in office, appealed to not just people who have what you might call far-right ideology or views, but even people who are willing to act out in violence on behalf of those views. It's clearly a message being sent to the far right, whether overt or covert, that they have a defender in the White House.
Trump's pardon attorney, Ed Martin, is now weighing whether or not to pardon Stuart Rhodes, who is the founder of the far-right militia group Oath Keepers. Rhodes was convicted of seditious conspiracy after the January 6th attack at the Capitol. And Martin has also recently suggested that he's looking to pardon the men convicted of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
On the pardon front, we can't leave these guys behind. In my opinion, these are victims just like January 6th. And so we are processing that. And, I have complete confidence that we're going to get a hard look at it. And the president will want to know the facts about it, want to see the relationship.
You talked about signals being sent from this White House. What signal does it send?
Well, the weaponization of the pardon power, the abuse of the pardon power, I think is one of the great concerns of this administration so far. Because again, it's not just symbolizing that these ideologies are welcome. The January 6th defendants and the Gretchen Whitmer plot defendants, they were not prosecuted for their ideologies. They were prosecuted for violent plots that were either planned or carried out. So again, the message is not necessarily that your ideologies, your hatred of the Democratic Party or of government is legitimized. It's that violence on behalf of those ideologies is legal. The historical record, I fear, is not going to say that January 6th was a terrorist attack or an insurgency, an insurrection, a coup d'etat, whatever word you would want to use, against the American government. It will recognize that attack as that incident as a patriotic protest on behalf of a stolen election. And that is the legacy. We are watching January 6th, we're watching the 2020 election be rewritten in real time.
Only in America can someone walk like a duck, quack like a duck, talk like a duck, and not be considered a duck, unless it's a black duck. We keep seeing action after action after action after action after action that is indicative that this man is trying to reshape the nation for the benefit of one class of individual, one race of individuals, the rich white folks. We've just seen him deploy the U.S. National Guard to quiet a freedom of speech protest, but January 6th were just patriots voicing their concerns. We've even heard Trump say that presidents just can't.
We have laws. We have to go by the laws. We can't move in the National Guard. I can call insurrection, but there's no reason to ever do that. Even in a Portland case, we can't call in the National Guard unless we're requested by a governor.
But he just did that. Why? Because those individuals do not agree with his ideology. And what we're seeing is reminiscent of Jim Crow South. If you don't agree with my ideology, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to do something against you. I'm going to negatively impact your life. I'm going to arrest you. I'm going to you. That's what we're seeing. Pete Hegseth said he wanted to deploy 700 Marines on United States soil. For what? A protest? We literally seen a January 6th protesters assault police officers, break into Congress, do all type of fuckery, and his supporters just sit there and be like, oh my God, that was just, that was nothing. The media overplayed it. The media overhyped it. There were just some people displaying their freedom of speech. Bitch, please. Like, I'm sick of the bullshit, y'all. We're at a time right now where we're seeing black people sell their souls to make us be okay with this bullshit. There are Trump supporters that are going to tell you, oh, well, he's good at business. The motherfucker failed how many businesses? Oh, man, he's going to help this relationship, that relationship. How you zones feel right now? Your countrymen can't even come into this country no more. And those of you that have fucked up paperwork, once he deports y'all are not allowed back. We're seeing actions being taken that are reminiscent of Project 2025, but hey, nobody wanted to fucking admit that shit was real. We're seeing policies that are put in place that are reminiscent of Jim Crow South. And not only that, we're seeing individuals get jobs in important positions that view us like we're subhuman. And this man is okay with it. And y'all sit there act like this shit is okay. It's not fucking okay. And you gotta wake up. Black people, stop with the fucking boots in the ground and fans and all the bullshit. Oh, ain't got nothing to do. I'm just gonna figure out how to get this money. You can't get no motherfucking money if the environment you're trying to get money in is fucked up. That's all to it.